Everybody, the other day we talked about this particular page which consists of the risks in our business and the actions that we can take. Today I'm going to specifically talk about three areas. Number one is right intelligence. What I mean by right intelligence is that in today's world we have a lot of information coming in from various sources. We also know that some of these sources throw in information which are not correct. Our job as leaders is to make sense of what we gather and create a holistic view on what is happening around. For example, let's think of a dealership. A dealership can think of the different geographies under the dealership and figure out which areas are getting affected more, which areas are stable, which areas have no infections, for example. Based on the holistic view, we can decide what kind of actions to take. For example, let's say an area is less infected. If the area is less infected, the risk of traveling is lower. People can jolly well go and meet customers. Of course, they have to still take protections. So, not panicking, not using any source of information is highly important. And as a team, I would urge, please make a holistic view of whatever information you gather. That's number one. The number two risk that I wanted to discuss was about business forecasting accuracies. See, what happens is before the coronavirus, we used to think about questions like whether a particular client has got the work order, whether the client will be executing that particular work order. Number three is how is the cash flow in such kind of projects, and we used to make a judgment, yes, this client is going to buy. Now we have another element which is being added, that whether the client will really start work, keeping in mind that coronavirus might affect his operations. So I think when it comes to business forecasting, two things are very critical. One is, let's keep in touch with each other in terms of trying to figure out whether our forecasting is still holding on. That means the frequency of checking up on the forecasts that have been made is kind of critical. And number two is that there will be risks, and wherever we feel that early closures are possible and we are able to make a sale happen, let's go ahead and make the sale happen. And the final risk that I wanted to emphasize on is the process management risk. See, in sales and service, we need to visit our clients, but some of the do's and don'ts when we visit clients must be done. For example, washing our hands regularly, almost every hour, is very important. Doing it for 20 seconds, doing a proper hand wash is very important. If we can get hold of sanitizers, well and good. If we don't get hold of sanitizers, there's nothing to worry, nothing to panic. We still have the soaps available, and we should make use of soaps to wash our hands. While interacting with the client, for example, let's maintain a distance of at least a meter from each other, so that when we converse, the droplets do not reach each other. Number three is we still must question the why of every client meeting now, because in many instances it might so happen that we actually wouldn't really require to meet the client. Where it's not required, there is no harm in avoiding a client meeting. Number four is we know that most of our colleagues they use a lot of public transport sometimes. So we should avoid public transport as far as possible and use our own vehicles. And the self-hygiene practices that we have been discussing through different messages, it needs to be reinforced. People need to be reminded of them. Maintaining safety, maintaining hygiene is extremely important. So let's get behind these three factors that we just discussed and place importance to doing them well. Thank you.